California Heartland is made possible by the James G. Boswell Foundation, committed to sharing the stories and successes of California growers. Bank of America, Bank of Opportunity.
Funding provided in part by the California Farm Bureau Federation, proud publishers of California Country magazine. More information is available at californiacountry.org. And by the Almond Board of California. California almonds, loved around the world, grown in California's heartland. And by Real California Milk. This seal ensures your favorite dairy brands are made exclusively with Real California Milk. More information at realcaliforniamilk.com.
Coming up on California Heartland, planting a place for peace.
I know that he's looking down and he sees that when the guys come out here and they find peace in this garden.
The heartwarming story of how tragedy inspired a San Francisco designer to celebrate the cycle of life in a healing garden. Plus,
I am a little scared of what lies ahead. I would love to keep farming, and I would love for my kids to be involved and carry on what my ancestors done.
Meet one of California's oldest farming families, fighting to keep their heritage growing in the midst of a water shortage. And
first you have to prepare your fruit.
Everything old is new again. We lift the lid on how to make your own old-fashioned preserves. From your backyard to the back country, in a field or on your family table, it's all about what keeps California moving and growing. This is California Heartland.
Our worst fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. And that's what a garden is about. A garden is fearless.
Landscape artist Topher Delaney makes healing gardens and uses plants and bushes as her paints and brushes, each one planting seeds of change.
What a garden does is it's progressive, it's cyclic. So it's moving and growing. The gardens I do are about things growing and changing and decaying. There is an aspect here that's very important.
It's life.
It's life.
A life uprooted when Topher was diagnosed with breast cancer 20 years ago and found herself in the hospital searching for a calming garden, a place to heal.
And I thought, okay, if I get out of this alive, I'm going to make healing gardens.
Just 3 days after surgery, Topher was designing her first healing garden, and she never stopped. Topher has made more than 400 of these for hospitals, cancer treatment centers, and special memorials. Each a sanctuary, designed at her San Francisco studio named Seam.
Topher, this is an amazing space.
Yes, it is.
And you get to work here.
And I get to make it here. It's an active space that is constantly shifting, and it's just like a garden.
Topher tailors each garden to each healing need.
The name of the plant in here.
Some are medicinal gardens, others are memorials, celebrating personal growth and new life. But each garden is about a personal journey, found in the meaning of Topher's name, short for Christopher.
But what the St. Christopher does is that he or the spirit takes travelers from one side of the river to the other.
That river was filled with tears at the grieving Bayview Police Department when one of their prized officers, Isaac Espinoza, was gunned down in 2004. On the first anniversary of Isaac's death, Topher unveiled this, the Blue Garden, a space of healing planted right in the middle of the police department parking lot. Topher is back today, replanting the garden where healing grows.
Hi, how are you? Good, how are you? Thank you for coming.
Isaac's wife, fellow officers, and Topher's assistant are getting their hands dirty sprucing up the blue garden by pulling out old shrubs and planting new flowers.
It makes me a little sad at times, you know, but I love the fact that I'm planting plants. It just makes me a little sad because it reminds me of when he was here and when we were here. But when I plant the plants, I know they're going to grow. And I know that his presence here, it makes them grow.
It sort of gives the station, you know, a semblance of peace, and, you know, gives them the idea that, hey, you know what, Isaac, we want you guys to keep on going. And it's just some place that they can come and be and remember him. And, you know, I like taking care of it. I like being a part of it.
Ironically, Sergeant Mike Andrachak was planting the idea of a small garden right here on this patch of weeds in honor of his buddy Isaac.
It's the sketch that I drew up, just kind of showing how it might look with some different fencing and lattice cap to kind of dress it up a little bit.
I think we could put new flowers in here. What do you think?
And that's when Topher stepped in with $60,000 of her own cash and a healing mission for this department, filled with hidden messages.
And blue is the color, traditional color of protection. It comes from the color woad, and woad was a plant in England in which when you went to fight, you'd put blue all over your face.
To honor Isaac, rosemary, the plant of remembrance, dotted with these blue flowers that match the blue garden. And there are white and red roses for purity. For the officers, lavender, a plant that calms, something needed for such a stressful job.
They have no place to sort of decompress.
I know that he's looking down and he sees that when the guys come out here and they find peace in this garden. I think that makes him smile.
That's what a garden, it's about the age of time on this planet, and acknowledging that, and acknowledging the veining of the body and of the garden. It's just, it's so important to understand that things will shift and that we're only here for a little bit of time.
It's the cycle of life and the cycle of a garden, from the seed to growing and back to the soil.
Maintain it, grow it, keep tending, 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 and things will be okay.
My name's Viola Taylor, and I work for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and I am the chair for the American River Salmon Festival Schools Day Committee, and that's what we're doing out here today. We're going to have about 200 students come out here today, and they're going to be rotated through 7 different stations, and they're going to learn all about the life cycle of the salmon.
We're pretending to be salmon, going up the stream, and then trying to stay away from the fishermen.
Just to see the excitement on the kids that they actually get an opportunity to get out here and learn about salmon and actually be a salmon themselves.
We're learning about salmon today. I learned that king salmon have a really tough life. And keep our water clean so our fish can stay healthy.
The kids are taking it home to their parents. They're taking the information that they're learning here and they're taking that home to their parents and they're sharing that with them.
There's different ways to learn about salmon. We are having fun learning about salmon!
California corn. It's sweet, fresh, and delicious, and California ranks number 2 when it comes to producing the crop. In fact, 18% of the nation's corn is grown right here in California. Food and lifestyle expert Laura McIntosh is bringing it home from the crops to your kitchen.
Well, thanks everyone for joining me. I am here with the grower, Alan Simonis. What's your season like? What's corn season?
Well, we start planting corn in February and we finish the corn in November.
You know, it's expensive to hand pick corn. Why do you do that?
Because the workers pick the best ears out of the plant, and then also there's no damage from the machines.
Alan Simonis grows it here locally here in Dixon, California. It's all good and it's all available through November. Thanks, Alan. I'd like to introduce you to Janine. Hi, Janine.
Hi, Laura.
Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
All right, what are you going to cook with us today? We've got some fresh corn going on. We've got a lot of things.
It's a white corn pudding.
Ooh.
And it could be with an entree or as a dessert.
All right, you are set. We have done a few steps, though, before we started. We have done a little roux.
We've made a blonde roux. We did that with a little butter and flour, and that's it.
And that's it?
And then we're reducing our cream.
Your cream.
So what we'll do is start by sauteing the corn.
Okay.
This is a great recipe. If we could get corn to Thanksgiving, this is a great Thanksgiving recipe.
Yes. There she goes. What's her favorite ingredient? Shallots.
Shallots.
That's right.
When in doubt, cut shallots. Okay, next thing we're gonna do, and you could help me with this.
Okay.
I'm gonna come by and put the cream in the bowl.
Okay.
As soon as I put this in, then you can add this as mascarpone.
Ah, a little mascarpone cheese. Everyone likes that. Okay. The whole thing, Janine?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, and it's melting right in this warm cream. Very nice.
And then the next thing you're gonna wanna do is add the egg yolks pretty slowly.
Real slowly?
Uh-huh.
Because the cream is warm, we don't wanna curdle them.
Right.
So we wanna go nice and slow.
Okay, and then we're gonna add our roux.
Okay.
And now I think it's a good time to use the whisk.
Okay.
So we'll add our corn. That's what makes the pudding pudding.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
We're gonna add a little tarragon and chives.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
And what I'm gonna start to do is whip the egg whites to peaks, to a stiff peak.
Okay. How are we looking, Janine?
I think we're at our peak performance.
Only takes about 3 minutes, you guys.
So at this time, let's add our toasted brioche.
To this mixture? Okay, all of it.
All of it.
Okay.
Okay. Now, the next part, we want to fold in the egg whites.
Okay, you do the honors.
Okay, I will. And the egg whites are still going to remain visible. I'm not folding them in all the way.
Okay.
I want it to be nice, light, and fluffy.
Okay. Now these will go in the oven for about, what, 15?
15 minutes.
15 minutes. She has them in a, as you can see, in a water bath. And she has these great ramekins. They're greased. They're ready to go in the oven, sitting in a water bath.
Okay.
All right,
we could start scooping them in to our ramekins.
To our ramekins. Wait till you see these things come out. You're going to be so excited as I am. Janine, they turned out perfect. We're ready. Let's do this thing. You ready? Look at that. Isn't that beautiful?
So we'll just take them out of the water bath.
Okay.
You could do a compote if you want.
Okay.
Fig would be great.
Oh, yeah.
Peaches are great.
And oh, look at that dropped. I'm going to have to taste it. Oh, you guys, this was an easy, fun recipe that, by the way, tastes fantastic. Thank you, Janine.
Thank you.
These are, I mean, just perfect out here.
My name's Frank Alonzo, and this is my California Heartland. And my job is farming on 1,400 acres in the Sutter Basin. I have 600 acres of rice. I have 170 acres of garbanzo beans. I have 80 acres of lima beans. I have over 400 acres of tomatoes on the ranch that are sublet out to other farmers. I get out to the field about 6:30, 4:07, make sure my crew have everything they need. The winter crops are hard to grow because you can't control Mother Nature. I enjoy what I'm doing. It's like any job, you have to enjoy it to do it because it gets very hectic out there. But I feel like what I do is important not only to myself, my family, and my friends, and in the state of California. Somebody has to do this work, and I certainly enjoy doing it. Thanks for coming to see my California Heartland.
Every Saturday morning at 7 a.m., you're likely to find 15-year-old Teresita Cuoto doing what many kids her age in Los Angeles aren't used to doing. That's working on a farm and harvesting crops like these organic tomatoes.
It was like a totally new experience. I really enjoyed coming here, and that is why I'm still here.
You chop this up with some and throw it in like with some fish that you're cooking.
Teresita and the rest of these teenagers from South El Monte High School are working part-time for Earthworks Community Farm, a nonprofit job training program. This job has not only helped Teresita discover appreciation of farming and organic food, but has given her insight into a new career.
Working here on the farm has influenced what I want to do in the future, which is study homeopathic medicine.
It's the kind of revelation and impact on this child's future that's at the core of why Earthworks works.
Earthworks Community Farm was founded 4 years ago by Reverend Connie Yost.
She literally started this with nothing. I mean, we had no area to plant, just basically went knocking on different elected officials' doors, and she was getting folks from the community involved.
And that's when the LA County Parks and Recreation stepped in, dedicating these 4 acres to the Earthworks program, now part of the Los Angeles Conservation Corps.
And what are you doing? What is this?
It's papalo.
Papalo? What's that?
Learning business and leadership skills by working on the farm and running this produce stand has changed the way these kids interact at school.
The kids that have been involved in the program, what we see at school is that their attitude is very, very different.
And how much are the peppers?
They're $1 a pound. At first, they're a little hesitant because they think, you know, we're going to be out there in the sun, and, you know, they can be a little negative at first, but then they've been leaders here, so now they're going out there and they're acting as leaders. They know that it's important to do well in school because that's what they talk about here. These are things that, you know, kids love to do. So they're learning a lot of things, but they're also having fun, and I think that's great.
Victor Ledesma helped Connie get this program off and running and says pairing the teens with the farm was the best way to make a dramatic impact, not only on their future, but on the future of the community.
And I think that this kind of a program helped youth to go in a different direction, to help youth to have a little more responsibility, and to help youth to understand what nature is all about.
Porque, pues también por tradición, porque yo de
My dad said that I learned and then that it's a tradition because he did it when he was young, and he wants us to do it too.
We're really, really serving these kids holistically by teaching them and helping them where they could have some pride that they have some money in their pocket, or even if they don't, a lot of these kids turn around and they give the money to their families to help their families, you know, buy food.
But while the benefits of having this kind of program for the kids and the community is clear, what's not clear is the future of the farm.
To run this farm, it takes about $200,000. We really, really need the community support, public support, and it's such a beautiful vision and such a beautiful thing that we're doing. But again, it takes money, and we're hoping that we can find a couple of angels out there that will help continue this kind of a vision that we started.
A vision that's turned into a reality and a new way of life for these young adults. By turning teenagers into leaders, responsible citizens, community activists, possibly potential farmers, the Earthworks Community Farm is empowering future generations, hopefully years to come.
Knowing that it's us who are like growing the fruits and vegetables they're consuming, and knowing that we're not putting anything that will harm them. So that makes me feel good.
My name is Jane Alexander. I'm a master food preserver. Today we made marmalades, conserves, and butters.
Here at the Agricultural Center in El Dorado County, Jane Alexander and these volunteer master food preservers come together for their monthly canning course, helping to preserve a lost art.
I trained by the University of California Cooperative Extension right here in El Dorado County. Marmalades are a form of jam or jelly, but they always contain citrus. Conserves are a fruit that is cooked down to thickness, and butters are fruits that are cooked so that they are soft and will spread. First you have to prepare your fruit, wash your fruit, and then peel it and chop up the rinds and segment out the fruit. And when you've done that, then you cook it up as you would any other jam.
Along with making marmalades, the master food preservers teach the benefits of canning at home.
People are more aware of what they're eating, I think. They're looking on the back of cans and seeing how much salt and additives and preservatives they're eating, and I think they want to eat better, more wholesome foods.
But this ain't your grandma's canning anymore. The class covers safe practices for pressure canning.
So if it's not properly processed, you can get botulism, salmonella, and all those things that make you very sick. So canning it properly is very essential. Oh, we have fun and we get to make some wonderful different kind of preserves, and we do jerky, we preserve olives, we dry things, we freeze things. We cover the whole way that you can store food at home.
Simply stated, this class is old-fashioned health food and laughter in a jar.
I tasted apple butter that was excellent. It was one of the best that I've ever had.
To die for. I just have fun.
The roots of California's farming families grow deep. This is the heritage of our heartland.
I'm Bernard Wohlford, a fourth-generation citrus and avocado farmer in San Diego County.
My name is Elizabeth Wohlford. I'm a fourth-generation Californian. My family has grown avocados and citrus in Escondido for over 100 years.
My name is Bernard Wohlford. I'm a third generation of the Wohlfords. My grandfather, A.W. Wohlford, came to Escondido in the 1890s.
The Wohlford family is a close-knit bunch, still keeping the tradition of farming citrus and avocados alive here in Escondido after more than 100 years.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Can't complain about that.
In 1890, A.W. Wohlford made his way to San Diego, not to find his way in farming, but in hopes of discovering gold.
He'd heard that there was gold in Escondido, and they drilled a few shafts at likely places and were unsuccessful.
So A.W. moved on and started buying citrus groves. But being a farmer wasn't good enough for Sally, his future bride.
We'd met my grandmother, Sally, but she told him that she'd have to marry a man of substance. She wasn't interested in a farmer or a gold miner too much, and so he managed to acquire the one-man bank in Escondido. It was the banker in Escondido for a number of years until he sold the bank to Bank of America.
A.W. didn't just stop at farming and banking. His entrepreneurial spirit led him to starting the first regulated water company in Escondido.
So this water company was really big, had a big, substantial history in your family.
Well, I'd say it. We were certainly tied into it. We had one of the largest ranches, so we probably have used more water than almost anyone.
So it was good that he got into the water business.
It's good he got into the water business and assured water for the grove.
But this family's farm history could have gone on a completely different path in the 1920s. That's when A.W.'s only son, B.C., had his sights set on moving to New York.
My dad actually had trained to be an attorney before he went back to work. He happened to stop to see an oculist, and this gentleman told him that if he practiced law and did all the studying and the bookwork that were required, he'd lose his eyesight.
So B.C. came back to the farm and took over the same farming, banking, and water duties started by A.W.
I can't even imagine where the family would have gone if he had continued with his law profession. He was a huge influence for all of us.
The family says B.C.'s strong commitment to the farm and his family is still present to this day.
We grew lemons and oranges. We either had to drink lemonade, orange juice, or water.
Lemonade that we made?
Lemonade that we made, not store-bought. It had to be, we had to squeeze it.
Squeeze it.
And asparagus was the only thing you could use with your hands with. You
Yeah.
could pick up the asparagus spear and use your hands for that. That was it.
Yeah.
A lot of rules.
That's what he would allow.
Are you still passing them down, the rules?
Oh, yes.
As the years have gone by, this family is now struggling to keep up with change, especially now that they've had to chop down 30% of their avocado trees to meet the recent mandatory water cutbacks in San Diego County.
Your father planted these trees the year you were born, and now you're having to cut them down. That must be tough.
It's tough. It's really hard. These are over 40-year-old trees.
But they're not giving up. And no matter what lies ahead for the Wohlfords, their deep roots in farming will always live in their hearts.
I would love to keep farming, and I would love for my kids to be involved and carry on what my ancestors done. Oh, wow, look at all these.
Dad, I find 3.
Oh, you got 3 too. Oh, boy.
It's not an easy life. You don't know if you'll have rain, a frost. It's like gambling, but the payoff is definitely worth it.
I can only say it's been a challenging experience, and it's certainly been rewarding. It's been a good life.
That's California Heartland. For more information on any of these stories, go to californiaheartland.org. I'm Chris Boros. We'll see you next time.
Teeth!
To order a copy of this show, visit us online or call 1-888-814-3923. The cost is $14.95 plus shipping. California Heartland is made possible by the James G. Boswell Foundation, committed to sharing the stories and successes of California growers. Bank of America, Bank of Opportunity.
Funding provided in part by the California Farm Bureau Federation, proud publishers of California Country magazine. More information is available at californiacountry.org. And by the Almond Board of California. California almonds, loved around the world, grown in California's heartland. And by Real California Milk. This seal ensures your favorite dairy brands are made exclusively with Real California Milk. More information at realcaliforniamilk.com.